guys, so today you can see the theme, Tampa Bay Rays. Yes, we like baseball in our house too. You want to see how good I am? Woo! Not that good. Anyway, let me take my purse off. All right, so, oh, you know what? I got some special guests today for you to meet before we start our lesson. It's DJ Kitty. Come on, guys. Woo! Kitty from the Tampa Bay Rays baseball team. Woohoo! All right. Well, today we're going to continue our lesson on factoring, and we're up to kind of doing what we did before spring break backwards. So don't write this down. Let me show you something first. All right, here we go. I wanted to use my blue marker to match. Here it is. Excuse me. Match my Rays. Okay, here we go. So just don't write this down. I just want to remind you of something. Here we go. So before break, this is the types of problems we were doing. We were multiplying polynomial expressions. Well, this is two binomials. Multiplying two binomials. We did this using FOIL, which is nothing more than distributing x times x times negative 7, 2 times x, and 2 times negative 7. So that's what we were doing before the break. And when we got done with this, first times first, outers, inners, and last times last. And we have noticed that most of the time, the outers and inners would be like terms, and we'd have to combine them together. So negative 7x plus 2x is negative 5x. So basically, we started with two binomials, we were multiplying, and we got a trinomial. You could technically get a binomial depending on how it was written. But anyway, you get a polynomial. Okay, we're going to do that backwards. That's what this lesson is about. It's using backwards FOIL. Instead of starting here, we're going to start here. And we're going to end up here. Okay? So I've got several examples for you. So let's start with number 1. All right, y squared plus 2y minus 35. So we're starting here and going back to here. So instead of multiplying first times first, we have to think backwards. What first term times what first term is y to the second? Y times y is y squared. And then you actually skip over an outers and inners and think about last times last. What last term times what last term has to multiply to get negative 35. But you do have to keep in mind, when you do check the outers and inners, it's got to add up to 2y. So hopefully you figured out it's 7 and negative 5. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. Your outers would be negative 5y. Your inners would be 7y. When you add that together, look what you get, 2y. So that's the answer. All right, so let you think about that for a second. We're going several examples we're going to do. It takes some practice to really get good at this. All right, number 2. Number 2. X squared plus 8x plus 15. I'll just erase that, kind of get that out of the way. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to think about FOIL, but going in the opposite direction, backwards. So what first term times what first term is x squared? X times x. What last term times what last term is 15, but your outers and inners have to add up to 8x. So hopefully you figured out 5 and 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 5x and 3x, outers and inners, that would be 8x. So we know we got the right combination. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Number 3. M squared plus 6m plus 7. All right, here we go. So what first term times what first term is m squared? Obviously, m times n is m squared. Now, what last term times what last term multiplies to be 7, but it adds to be 6. Well, guys, there's only one way to multiply to be 7. Either -1 times -7 or +1 times +7. So if I do +1 and +7, my outers and inners would be 7m plus 1m, which would be 8m. That doesn't work. So guess what? This one is prime. It means it cannot be factored. Just like a prime number, like the number 7, the only way to multiply to get 7 is 7 times 1. It's the only way to multiply to get 7. The same with here. There's no way to multiply 2 terms to get that except for that times itself, 1. Okay? Alrighty. Times 1. Alright, let's try another one. I actually have 3 more for you, and then I want to show you a couple other types. I tell you what, I think I'll just erase this. So let's go to number 4. Y squared minus 17y plus 72. All right, so we're going to factor it. All right, what first term times what first term is y squared, y times y. We're kind of doing the easier ones today. We'll get into a little bit more complicated ones tomorrow. What last term times what last term is a positive 72, but your outers and inners add up to a negative. How can that happen? Well, because a negative times a negative actually does multiply to be a positive. So we know it's got to be a negative times a negative to be a positive 72 and actually add to be a negative 17. So hopefully you know what 2 numbers multiply to be 72. 9 times 8. So that's a negative 9y, negative 8y. Sure enough, I know I got the right combination because I got negative 17y in the middle. All right, number 5. X squared plus 5x plus 6. All right, guys, I want you to try it. Go for it. You try it. See if you can figure out the 2 numbers that will work. We know it's x times x. I know you know that. Is it 1 times 6 or 2 times 3? 2 times 3. Because that's 2x and 3x adds to 5x. All right, one more of this type, and then I want to show you one other type. X squared plus 2x minus 8. So what first term times what first term is x to the second power? X times x. What last term times what last term is negative 8. But when you add your outers and your inners, you got to get 2x. So what would that be? 4 times 2 is going to help you, but which one's positive and which one's negative? Because you've got to multiply be negative, but add to be positive. So that means the bigger number needs to be positive. So that's 4x minus 2x. That would be enough. Sure enough, that would work. That would be 2x. So we did it. Okay, so that's Roman numeral number 1. You have 6 good examples, and that is pretty much what your assignment's going to be, just doing those problems over and over again. You actually only have 10. It's called factoring quadratics, and there's only 10 of them, but I do need to show you one other type, and that type is when you have more than one variable. So if you're kind of trying to keep your notes organized, like we would do in class, we're going to do Roman numeral number 2. This says factoring. Oops, sorry. Factoring with two variables. All right, so and these can also be prime. Sometimes you just can't factor them, right? It's just how it is. All right, so I'm just going to do two of these. All right, x squared plus 6xy minus 16y squared. Now, all of these, again, are going to begin with a 1. So we'll do the ones that have a number in front tomorrow. It gets a little bit more complicated, but it's not too bad. First times first. X times x. Has to be, right? Now, what last term times what last term is negative 16y squared? All right, in order to get the y squared, I know it's got to be a y times a y. But how do I get the negative 16? And I want to add my outers and inners to add up to 6. Well, you could multiply 4 times 4, but that wouldn't add up to 6, right? What else could you do? How about 8 times 2? There it is. So we're going to say a positive 8 and a negative 2. And by the way, just one other quick little note. And that would add up to 6. That's 8xy and negative 2xy. But one other thing I wanted to mention, when you're multiplying, order doesn't matter. If I said, how do you multiply to be 15? You know, one person might say 5 times 3, and another person, Chanel, might say 3 times 5. It doesn't matter. So if you have this as an answer, that's fine. Or if you have this written first and this written second, that's fine too. But it would have, the 2 would have to be the negative, and the 8 would have to be the positive in order for it to add up to, the outers and inners to add up to a positive 6y. All right, one more. And then we'll be done for the day. X squared plus 2nx minus 8n squared. All right, last problem. Here we go. So what first term times what first term is n squared? I mean x squared. X times x. What last term times what last term is negative 8n squared? Well, we know it's n times n, but how are we going to get that negative 8? We want to make sure that when we do the negative 8, we have a positive 2 here. So we're going to have to use a positive 4 and a negative 2. Positive 4n times negative 2n is negative 8n squared. And your inners would be positive 4xn. Your outers would be negative 2xn. So sure enough, or nx, that would give you a positive 2. All right, so go Tampa Bay Rays. I will tell you, if you do like baseball, it's all been postponed, the whole season. Major league season, spring season, all been postponed. For spring season, it's just been canceled. It's not happening. But they're hoping that the baseball, Major League Baseball, will come back. But if you're missing baseball, you can watch sports, Fox Sports, and believe it or not, they are showing, just about every day, they're showing an old game that's already been played. And the funny thing is, they're only showing games where the Rays won. So if you want to see a fun game, a lot of them are actually fun, where they win at the end or whatever. They're all really exciting games. You can tune in to Fox Sports, see the Rays play a little bit more. So have a great day, guys. Hang in there. Keep working hard.